take you back a few years. I'm sure it's not very many years at all, but to Safaraz Ali, the young man.
Yeah.
And you've left school. You've decided to go to university. I know you went to university in Birmingham, and I think I'm right in saying that you studied financial services.
Banking and financial services, yeah.
And then you became not a banker, but you worked in financial services. And I assume, you tell me, but I assume that your parents were quite pleased about that. I mean, what was their attitude when you decided that actually you wanted to go into business?
Just on that particular topic, my first choice in terms of my degree was a Bachelor in Science in Entrepreneurship. So I enrolled with what was the University of Central England. So, we had polytechnics before, which moving into universities, and University of Central England is now known as Birmingham City University. And at the time, we had new degrees, a lot of new sort of degrees coming into foray, and there was a Bachelor in Science in Entrepreneurship that I enrolled onto, and I had to unfortunately leave that within the first sort of 2 weeks to go on to banking. So banking wasn't my first choice, but what I wasn't able to do was persuade my father that this was a good thing. Entrepreneurship wasn't a common word at the time. 1992 wasn't a common word. I mean, there was no Dragon's Den, there was no apprentice, there was no real discussion of entrepreneurship. And if the best way I described telling my father about this degree was, it's about business, it's about small business. And I wasn't able to persuade or convey what that is. And he says, you're wasting your time with this. And if it's business that you want to do, why don't you just come and join me in my small shoe shop, which was on Coventry Road. And because of that particular pressure, and also at the same time, the actual university wasn't able to sell this to students as well. So nobody really wanted to do a Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship. So I then had the choice of either doing just business studies or this banking and financial services. And I thought banking, yes, I think I think there's opportunities there, and I thought it was a respectful profession, and I thought, yeah, this is something I did, and it wasn't, as I said, something that I thought of doing before I had to leave my Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship. So I did my 4 years in banking and financial services, and then followed the footsteps of actually compliance and working in that particular sector, and then decided that it is a business that I want to get into, and it is something that I want to set up on my own. My father was a big believer in education, and there's a phrase which I sort of acknowledged in my book, and he used this phrase, I want you to travel as far as China if it's to do with education, and that was the culture of education. In terms of his own perspective, he was, as far as I remember, he was always reading. He always had a newspaper, and he was actually getting private sort of classes for himself to better his command of English.